So let's talk about the Taifu action steps. To practice the sell transactions, refresh our computer skills and memory of selling. The goal is to refresh our memory of the process to convert and withdraw fiat to our banks, to lock in small chunks of profits, and to mentally prepare to handle large numbers. Do not ignore or skip any steps. Each step prepares you for the next step. Also, each successive step depends on the success of the previous steps. Okay, so there's 5 action steps here, and we're going to go over each one of them. In action step number 1, we want to identify the market signals. So there are 2 types of market signals we can use. As I mentioned before, we have the logical market signals and we have the emotional market signals. We prefer to focus on the logical market signals because it is measurable and tangible, and we avoid using emotional signals and opinions because they are vague and hard to measure. Use the 15 plus logical market signals we provided. Do not waste time finding new signals. After you make some big money, then you can consider adding your own signals. Make sure your signals have a tangible number. Just a few minutes ago, I mentioned there are 16 signals, and now I say there's only 15 plus logical market signals. The reason why I say 15 is because I did not include the promotional emails that I get in my email, because that's more for me, and you guys are not going to be able to see that. That's why I didn't count that. That's why I only say 15 here. In action step number 2, we're going to calculate the market signal scores. So use the logical market signal scoring method to score your market signals and add up your total market signal scores. So like we did earlier, we added all up 16 signals. Even though there's a total of 19 points available in the Taifu score, my score was only 11 points. So what I do is, step number 2 is I go over to the scoreboard here and I look for 11 points. So it's in the 3rd row where it says 9 to 12 points, 45 to 67%. So at this stage, my action is I'm going to reduce the total number of coins. I'm going to hold a big portion of my portfolio, and I'm going to practice small sells. So I can practice selling and practice taking small profits. So that's the action that I'll take right there. So there's no confusion, guys. There's absolutely no confusion in what actions that we need to take. You score the signals based on the Taifu score that I shared with you. You determine your total score, and then you go look on the scoreboard here to see what actions you take based on the scores you gave. In action step number 3, we are looking to lock in small profits. We are practicing selling small test transactions to refresh our memory on how to use the hardware, the wallet, the exchange, etc., and the user interfaces that go along with them. We practice selling small test transactions to practice computer skills to sell. Okay? If you haven't practiced selling in a while, then you're not going to remember how to do it. So that's why we need to practice. We also practice selling small test transactions to identify any bugs in your selling processes and update all the hardwares, softwares, and firmwares that you use. We also sell small test transactions to test going from crypto to fiat to your bank account and make sure everything works correctly. When we get to this stage, guys, there's always some type of bug or some type of small problems or big problems that pop up. So you really need to practice selling these small test transactions to uncover the bugs and the issues that are in the way so that it doesn't stop you from taking big chunks of profits when the time comes. Prepare your mindset for life-changing profits. The other reason why we sell small profits or small test transactions is to mentally warm up your mind to be ready to sell and take profits. To become mentally comfortable and experienced in executing large financial transactions, okay? Practicing with small $10 or $100 transactions will not produce the same mental effect. Practice now to gain the skills you need to take profits later. Do not be lazy or think you are too smart to practice and make mistakes and have regrets later. Remember, guys, if you don't practice, you're not going to be able to do it correctly. We constantly stress you have to practice with small transactions before you can do large transactions. When we lock in small chunks of profits, we do it to gain experience making money from trading and investing and not from working at a job. If you've never made money from trading before, it might seem weird and odd to you, and it might not seem real, so we need to do it so that we can gain experience to prove to ourselves that it's real profits. We also lock in small chunks of profits to start filling up our spending bucket and the ammo bucket. Now, we recommend that you use the 3x rule and round it off to a whole number so it's easy to remember the portfolio sizes. So I can remember it between 0 to 300,000 times 3, which is 900,000, so I might as well round it off to 1 million. And then 1 million times 3 is 3 million. 3 million times 3 is 9 million. Okay, so those are the different levels. 300,000, 1 million, 3 million, 9 million. And in each level, we will sell 1 to 2% of that portfolio. So if I have a 300,000 portfolio, when it's time for me to sell small chunks of profits, I will sell 1 to 2%, which is $0 to $3,000 minimum per week. If I have a $1 million portfolio and I need to sell 1 to 2%, that's $3,000 to $20,000 per week. If I have a $3 million portfolio, that's going to be 1 to 2% per week, which is $10,000 to $60,000 per week. And then for a $9 million portfolio, it would be $60,000 to $180,000 minimum per week. Now, we do it per week, and we keep doing it as long as the market signals are telling us to sell small profits. We will increase that percentage whenever the signals increase and the signals get stronger and the scores get higher, then we will increase the percentage of the amount that we sell. When we sell the small chunks of profits, it reduces the mental stress so we can ride out the trend longer. As our portfolio gets bigger, the daily swings get bigger and causes a lot of mental stress. Locking in the small profits reduces the mental stress and allows us to ride out the trend longer. Our training is different from others because we include the strategies to deal with emotions. Instead of hiding from the emotions of real-world trading, we develop strategies to solve it. And one of the strategies that we use is to start taking small chunks of profits so it calms our nerves and it eases our anxiety and it reduces the stress that we have to go through mentally. We are not selling for the following reasons, and this is very important for you guys to know. We're not selling because we are scared. We're not selling because our uneducated friends or family members are telling us to do so. We are not selling because of superstition or because of feng shui or because of lucky numbers and things like that. We are selling because of logical market signals. We want to sell and take profits based on logic, which are numbers and facts, and not because of emotions, which are feelings, fear, anxiety, and FOMO. In action step number 4, we're going to work to reduce the total number of coins. So in a bear market, we do not know which coins will become big winners, so we split our money into 2 portions, right? 80% is to buy 10 to 20 coins from the Taifu 30 cryptocurrency market index, depending upon the size of our portfolio, and then 20% of our capital goes to buy 10 to 20 coins outside the Taifu 30 cryptocurrency market index. So after 3 to 6 months into a bull market, we begin to consolidate and reduce the total number of coins in our portfolio. We sell any weak coins, which are considered laggards, that are not following closely with the Taifu 30 cryptocurrency market index, and put that money into the strong coins or the leaders with a higher rank and a bigger market cap. Do not be afraid to do this, guys. Many people, they want to hold on and let the coin go up before they sell it. That's not how we do it, guys. When it's not following the rest of the markets, after 3 to 6 months, we cut it loose and get rid of it and put that money towards a better coin. If we want to ride out the trend as long as we can and grab the most profit out of the bull market, we need a small number of coins so we can stay focused and not be distracted by too many coins. We also need coins with high liquidity so we can click a mouse and quickly take profits and get out. So the correct way out of the trend is to have a small number of very liquid coins, guys. As you can see in the 2 red arrows there, as we go further and deeper into the bull market, we need to move into higher liquidity coins, and we need to reduce the total number of coins that we have so that we are more flexible and we can move faster and we can get out of those coins quickly because those coins have higher liquidity. The way that you ride out the trend for as far as you can is by having a low number of coins in your portfolio, and not just a low number of coins, but the coins that you're holding have the highest amount of liquidity available for you to get out very quickly. The amateur traders believe they can time the markets and hold a large number of coins until the peak and sell everything at the top. It is impossible to consistently buy the bottoms and sell the tops. You may do it once in a while and be lucky, but it's not something that we have seen anyone do consistently well. So stop trying to go after something that is not realistic, okay? So the common beginner mistakes include they hold too many coins and cannot decide which coins to sell. They do not know their personal financial goals or the amount of money they need. They keep thinking the market is going higher, and we keep saying it does not matter if you have enough profits to fulfill your goals, such as retire early or buy your dream home or pay off your house debt, then do it. They hold illiquid coins. For example, in 2017, we had several coins over $500,000 in profit and could not sell even $100,000 of it because it was too illiquid. So do not make these same common beginner mistakes that we have already made. Remember, you invested in us to share with you guys our experience. We share it with you guys. Make sure you guys do it and don't try to reinvent the wheel. Action step number 5 is to lock in big profits. There's 2 common questions we get about taking big profits. When do we sell and how much profits do we take? In a bull market, there are multiple opportunities to take profits. What is an opportunity to take profits? An opportunity to take profits is the wave or the peak to peak distance. For example, the blue and pink arrows equals small opportunities or small waves in the market, and the green arrows equals the big opportunities or the big waves. Then the big opportunity means big opportunities to take profits. We encourage you to try to ignore the small waves in blue and pink. These waves are created by short-term traders. Short-term trades usually create higher taxes and it earns the least profits. It's difficult to scale due to liquidity issues, so short-term trading is still the same as a day job and we do not encourage that. Even though it makes a small amount of money, we do not encourage it because it's like working a day job. Focus on the big waves like the waves at A, B, C, and D. Use a weekly chart so it's easier to identify the waves or the opportunities. Big waves require more weeks to form and have bigger pullbacks, but they yield bigger profits. Use with the logical market signal scores. So we look at these waves and we use the logical market signal scores in conjunction, or the combination of those two is how we determine to take profits. Here's a note here. The pink wave has a deep pullback and took several weeks to form, but we do not count it as a big wave because it did not make a significantly higher peak. Since a bull market is made up of multiple big waves, we usually ignore the first wave, A, and wait to take profits on the successive waves to gain more profits. If we are inexperienced and take profits on wave B, it would not be wrong. So as you can see there, guys, there's wave A, wave B, and wave C, and wave D. Ideally, we want to take profits on the third or bigger wave. The first 2 waves, we tried to ignore it. Okay, definitely the first one, we ignore it because that's not enough, right? We want it to go up higher. If you were an amateur or you were a new trader and you took profits at wave B, that's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Don't blame yourself, right? That's common. I used to do that many times too. But now that I have more experience, I don't rush to take profits right away. I let wave A go by, wave B go by, and then I jump on wave C, D, E, and F. And every wave after that, I will start taking big chunks of profits. Can we sell at the top of the trend channel and buy back in at the bottom of the trend channel and make some extra profits? This sounds good in theory, guys, and we get people asking us all the time. And I think this is like the 3rd or 4th time I've had to answer this question in this section about taking profits. We will have more misses, guys, which means we will have more losers than hits or winners in reality. That's just the reality, guys. If you say that, hey, I'm going to sell at the top of the trend channel, buy back in at the bottom of the trend channel, and keep doing that over and over, if you do that 100 times, you will have more losers than you will winners. You will end up losing money instead of making money. Do we take profits in a fiat like USD or Thai baht or Vietnamese dong, or do we take profits in a stable coin like USDT or USDC? This is going to depend on each person's financial goals and the currency they need to pay their bills in. There's not much advantage of using stablecoins in the US and some Western countries except for fast transfers because the tax treatment is the same for fiat and stablecoins. Some people don't understand the tax system in America and they think that if I sell and take profits into a stablecoin, then the government cannot tax me. However, they don't realize that that is a taxable event. When you convert to stablecoins, that is a taxable event. That's not, you still owe taxes. So why does it matter if you take into a stablecoin or not? The only reason to get into a stable coin is because you plan on reusing that money immediately for the next trade and you don't want to have to convert it to US dollars and send it to your bank and then send it back. Just keep that in mind. A stable coin is better for countries with capital controls like Thailand and Vietnam because it requires permission from the government to send money. So if you do not need permission from the government or the bank to send your US dollars to an exchange or to another person, then there's really no advantage to holding the stable coins. In Thailand and Vietnam, where we have capital controls, then we need to have a method to send money to the exchange without asking for the government's permission. So that's why we need to use the stable coins. If we are lending out stable coins to earn an interest, then take profits in stable coins. Be careful when you lend your stable coins out because if you look at like Bitcoin, it has averaged about 200% gain a year since it came out onto the market. And when you put your stable coins in and give your stable coins or your Bitcoins to lend out for interest payments, and you're getting a 1%, 2%, or 7% or 8% a year interest payment, right? You have to ask yourself, is that worth it? Is that worth it for me to get 7% on my money and leave all that Bitcoin or all that USDT on the exchange and risk getting hacked? For us, it's not worth it if you have not retired yet. If you have reached a point where you've made so much money where money's no longer an issue in your life, in your kids' life, in your grandkids' life, and you just want to put 100,000 or 200,000 or 500,000 into a stable coin and earn 7 or 8% interest on it, then that is fine. But until you get to that point, I would not take that kind of risk, especially if you put the stable coins or the Bitcoins on a lending platform and they get hacked and you lose that. Are you going back to get a job? If you have to go back and get a day job, if you lose all that money, or if you cannot retire early, if you lose that money, then I would not put it up for lending and earn an interest on it, because that is too much risk. How much profits do we take to be considered big profits? We consider taking out 20 to 30% of the entire portfolio in 1 to 2 months as big profits. So if I take out, let's say 5% a week, and that adds up to 20% of my portfolio at the end of the month, then I consider that big profits. We will sell 1 to 2% of the entire portfolio per sell transaction. We mentioned the top-down method multiple times in this course already, and I'm going to use that idea and that concept again. If there's a big spike in the broad markets, which is the Taifu 30 cryptocurrency market index, and there's a big spike in our personal portfolio and or a big spike in a specific coin, then we will sell 5 to 10% chunks in just a few hours or days when that big spike happens. Plan to set aside 6 to 12 hours to sell $1 million of crypto that is outside the top 5 coins in the Taifu crypto indexes, because usually the liquidity is not there and it will take a lot of time to sell. Our goal is to take out a minimum of 20 to 30% of the entire portfolio in profits per big wave. It will take 2 to 3 big waves or 2 to 3 big opportunities to take out the majority of our portfolio profits. And when I say the majority, I'm talking about greater than 60% of our entire portfolio. After we lock in greater than 60% of our entire portfolio, it will drastically reduce our mental stress and anxiety, and we will be able to hold the remaining balance for a much longer period of time, and we will be able to ride out the trend much longer. That is why we take out such a large chunk of our profits. So here's an example or a case study of how several portfolio sizes can take profits in the first, second, third, fourth opportunities. The first example of trader A, he has a portfolio that is 3 million to 9 million. This trader has a large portfolio, so in the first opportunity to take profits or the first big wave, this trader will take out 10% profits. And then in the second big wave or the second opportunity, this trader will take out 20% chunks of profit and continue to do a minimum of 20% in every wave or opportunity after that. So in the third opportunity to take profits, they will do 20%. Okay, and in the fourth opportunity, they should already have 60 to 75% of their profits already taken out. Now, if we look at trader B, he only has a 1 million to a 3 million portfolio. So in the first opportunity to take profits, he doesn't need to take out a lot. He just needs to take out just a little bit, like 5%, and then let the rest of his portfolio continue to work and make money for him. Now, however, when he gets to the second opportunity, he has to make up for not taking the whole 10% out in the first opportunity or the first wave. So in the second opportunity, he's going to take out 15% profits. And then he's going to catch up and make up for it in the third opportunity and take out an even bigger chunk of a minimum of 30%. And then by the fourth opportunity, 60 to 75% of his profits should already been taken out already. Now, if we go to trader C, he has a portfolio of $301 to $1 million portfolio. So in the first opportunity, there's plenty of liquidity for him to get in and out with a $1 million portfolio. So he doesn't have to rush and take profits right away in the first opportunity or the first wave. He can wait till the second opportunity and take out 10% profits and continue letting his money grow and work for him. But then in the third opportunity, he needs to catch up at that point and before it's too late, and take out 40% chunk at one time. And then by the fourth opportunity, he should have already taken out 60 to 75% of the profits in his portfolio and be ready to be done with that bull market. And lastly, we're going to talk about trader D, who has a smaller portfolio of less than 300,000. If this trader is trading that, there's plenty of liquidity to get in and out of the markets with $300,000. That's no problem at all. So in the first opportunity, I would skip it and not even take profits. I would just hold on, let my money grow and continue working for me. And then in the second opportunity, I would not take profits either. And then in the third opportunity, I would catch up at that point and then take out 50% profits. And then in the fourth opportunity, I should have 60 to 75% of my profits taken out already. And that should be enough. And I can cruise and take it easy from there and just ride out the rest of the trend. So here's some notes that I want to share with you guys. If we did not take profits at the first and second opportunities, then we need to catch up at the third opportunity. That's why I say that's the catch-up period there. The majority of the big profit taking should be done by the fourth opportunity. Everything afterwards is just a bonus, guys. Do not be greedy. Take out, most of your profits between the third and fourth opportunity. Just get it all out, or the portions that you need to fulfill your financial goals. If we wait till the last minute, then we have to take out a bigger chunk of profits in case the market turns into a bear market. Can there be a fourth and fifth opportunity to take profits? Yes, but the probability gets lower and lower as we go deeper and deeper into the bull market. Keep in mind, these are profit-taking guidelines and not hard set rules or laws in trading. You will adjust as you get better. So these are just guidelines, guys. If you are not sure what to do, use these as guidelines. But as you get more and more experience as a trader and as an investor in the crypto markets, you will start to adjust these numbers according to your needs, and you'll have more experience. And once your financial goals become more clear to you, then you will adjust these numbers at that time. Use these in the beginning, but as you become more experienced, you are welcome to adjust the numbers slightly. So here are some notes about cryptocurrency exit strategies that I want to share with you guys. Do not think about taking profits correctly. Instead, think about taking profits efficiently. Efficiency is what we're going after, okay? So being efficient means, can you make equal or more profits with less work, less time, and less risk? That's what the definition of efficiency means. And every day when I go into the markets, or whenever I do go into the markets to take profits and get into the markets, my goal is always to become a more efficient trader. If I become a more efficient trader, then the profits will come. I don't have to worry about making profits. I just need to worry about becoming a better and more efficient trader. Most people do not have a lot of experience buying or selling large transactions. I've said this like 2 or 3 times throughout this course already, right? But I want to remind you guys again, we use a small 1 to 2% of our portfolio and frequent transactions to have more practice repetitions. This helps our students gain experience handling large financial transactions. Most people in the world do not have experience handling large financial transactions, and most of our students do not have experience in doing that. This is the reason why you need to sell small transactions of 1 to 2%. These 1 to 2% practice sell transactions are mandatory and they're not optional. Do not look at it as something, oh, let me do this when I feel like it. No, you do it because that's what's going to help you. Taking profits takes the most time to learn in trading and investing because it is an abstract and very emotional issue for beginners. It's abstract, so it's hard to see. It's emotional, so it interferes with our logical brain to make the correct decisions. So most people do not have a clear and realistic personal financial goals. So because of that, it makes it even worse. It is very difficult to capture 100% of the entire trend consistently. It is more realistic to consistently capture 20 to 66% of the entire trend. Our goal for our beginning trading students and our amateur students, or amateur traders or beginning traders, however you want to view yourself, our goal is to get those students to capture around 20, 25, 30% of the entire trend. So if they got into Bitcoins at 20,000 and it went up to 100,000, there's $80,000 worth of profits in there. So our goal is to have our students capture 20% of that, which means they will capture around 20,000 of that $80,000 in profits. And if they can do that, we're really happy for them. Since we are more experienced traders, our goal is to capture around 50 to 60 to 66% of that move. So that same move where our students capture 20,000 of the 80,000 profit, our goal is to capture 40 or 50,000 of that 80,000 and lock it in as profits. Our goal is never to capture 100%, okay? Because that's not something that we can do consistently in every market cycle so that we can create a consistent living from it. Consistency allows us to have confidence to quit our day job and retire early, guys. If we don't have consistency, right? We cannot retire early and quit our jobs. I would rather you guys capture 1/3 of every bull market that comes your way and do it consistently every bull market than to try to be that hotshot trader that tries to capture 100% of the bull market and you never do it once and you're still working a day job. Why did we choose to sell 20 to 66% of a coin when it goes up exponentially? Because we worked with hundreds of trading students in the past, and that is the percent range we noticed that most traders and investors can do in the real world and not suffer regret afterwards. For example, in the past, when I told my students to sell 80%, big chunks of profit at one time, and then the market continues going up, they only had 20% of their portfolio left, and they felt a lot of regret, and they couldn't do that. They would screw things up. So I reduced it from 80% down to 75%, down to 70%, down to 66%, 65, 50. And what I started to notice is that that 66% down to 20% range, when we take big chunks of profit, if it's between that range of 20% to 66%, it's more realistic and it's something that's doable for our students. Now, when we dropped it down to 10% or 5% profits, what happens is we found that our students would not do it because they just didn't think it was necessary or didn't think it was that important, or they was lazy. For whatever reason, the big chunks of profits needs to be between 20 to 66%. There's a mathematical reason for it because over the long run, it's more consistent, it's more doable. There's lots of reasons for it. And when we try to go lower or higher, it just confuses our students. So that's what we stick with. If they sell less than 20% and the price crashes 50% afterwards, they often feel hurt and regret that they did not sell enough. There's a threshold where if the amount that the student sells is too little, then they suffer a lot of regret if there's a big crash after they sell. If they sell greater than 66% and the price continues to go up afterwards, they often feel hurt and regret that they sold too early. So that's the reason why we focus on that 20 to 66% area. The reason we say to practice selling with 1 to 2% is because you need to practice with an amount of money that is big enough to trigger your emotions, guys, so that you can practice selling with emotions, so you can learn what it feels like to sell under the stress and pressure of greed, fear, FOMO, and all that stuff. If you have greater than $1 million and you practice with $100, there's no emotions involved because the amount is too small to trigger your emotions. And that's the reason why a lot of traders fail online, is because they never trade accounting for their emotions getting involved. They just think that, hey, I'll just trade and I'm a tough guy, I'm mentally tough, I'm smart, I'm educated, I got a college degree, I'm not gonna let that emotion bother me. But the reality is that's not true. It will affect you. So instead of trying to hide from it, let's learn to deal with it. And one of the ways that we deal with it is by practicing small 1 to 2% sell transactions before we start taking the big chunks of profit. The people that tell you to trade with no emotions are either Buddhist monks or fake traders, or they have never traded big trades with real money before. When you manage $1 million, $10 million, or $100 million portfolio, there's a ton of emotions involved. So do not let anyone tell you there are no emotions, okay? The cryptocurrency market swings an average of 5 to 10% every day. So if you have a $10 million portfolio, it's easy for you to wake up one day and your portfolio is at 9 million. You wake up tomorrow, it's 11 million. You wake up today, it's 10 million. You wake up tomorrow, it's 11 million. You wake up the next day, it's at 9 million. The market can move your portfolio $1 million up or down every day. If you have a $100 million portfolio, it moves up and down $5 to $10 million a day. So when someone tells you there's no emotions involved, right, that's not 100% true. Yes, there are emotions involved, and yes, there are ways to deal with those emotions. You just got to learn them and practice them. The difference between a theory trader and a real trader is this, guys. Most traders only trade in theory. What does trading in theory mean? It means that the theory traders trade based on technical and or fundamental analysis only, and they do not include the emotion component into trading. They will trade with real money, but they don't include what will happen when my emotions get involved in this trade. A real world trader is fully aware there is always emotions involved in trading and practices trading with real emotions and how to deal with it when it comes up. So real world traders do not pretend there's no emotions involved in trading. They know it's there and they practice skills to deal with it. In real world trading, always plan ahead for what you should do when your emotions get involved. So I know that if the market crashes 50% and I'm down several millions of dollars, I know that's going to hurt me emotionally. So what do I need to do now while the market's still up? Do I need to take out $500,000? Do I need to take out $1 million in profit, or I need to take out $2 million in profit. What do I need to do now so that when my portfolio crashes and I'm down $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, that I'm not emotionally hurt? So I need to do that before it happens, not while it's happening or not after it happens. The theory traders will theorize about it and try to figure it out after it happens. The real world traders like myself and our team, we anticipate that that will happen, and then we start addressing those issues and defending against it before it happens. Here are some methods we use to reduce emotions in trading and investing. We want to make sure that we have sufficient living expenses, also known as your runway, so you can last more than one market cycle. So each market cycle is anywhere between 3, 4, and 5 years. So if we have enough living expenses and enough runway to pay for all our living expenses, then we don't have to worry and stress out so much when the market's moving up and down 30, 40, 50%. The other thing that we can do is we can buy in small chunks during a bear market. So instead of buying big chunks at a time, we just buy small chunks, and that reduces the emotions in trading and investing. We can also do the opposite, which is to sell small chunks in a bull market. So when we take profits, instead of taking out a $100,000 profit at one time, we just sell and take out 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 chunks and do it more frequently, and that reduces the emotional stress as well. For most people, it's very emotional to buy a coin when prices are falling and to sell a coin when prices are going up. We solve this issue by buying and selling a little bit at a time. This allows us to temper our emotions. Tempering our emotions means to manage and control our emotions during a trade. It means that we manage it, we take care of it, and to make sure that it doesn't go crazy. And if we do that very often and we practice it often, then we have a better chance of managing and controlling our emotions when we're in a big trade with big money. We avoid buying altcoins in the middle of a bull market. An altcoin is short for alternate coin, and it is any coin that is not Bitcoin. Now, some people would ask me, is Ethereum an altcoin? And I'm like, why are you asking me that? I just told you that an altcoin is any coin that's not Bitcoin. Is Ethereum a Bitcoin? No, it's not. Well, then it's an altcoin. Well, what about Cardano? Then I have to ask them, is Cardano a Bitcoin? They say no. Well, didn't I just say that any coin that's not Bitcoin is considered an altcoin? And if Cardano is not a Bitcoin, then it's considered an altcoin, right? So please don't ask me if this coin is an altcoin, if that coin is an altcoin. Any coin that is not called Bitcoin is called an altcoin. We constantly say do not buy altcoins during the middle of a bull market. And the reason why we say this is because we don't want anyone to get into an altcoin, and then if it crashes 90% the next week, you may not ever recover that money. We don't buy coins at all during the middle of a bull market, but if we did have to buy a coin, it would have to be Bitcoin, because it's the only coin that has proven that it can crash 50 to 94% in a bear market and still come back up and recover and make new highs. And it has done it in 6 market cycles already. And in 2021, that is the 7th market cycle that it has done it. So it has done it 7 times in its lifetime already. So why would we take the risk of buying an altcoin that has never proven that it can crash 90% and recover and create new highs? We can't take that risk. Also, we don't buy altcoins during the middle of a bull market anyway, or any coins. And when we say do not buy altcoins during the middle of a bull market, this means that do not buy the altcoins with fiat, with Bitcoin, or any other altcoins. Just don't do it, okay? Now, when we sell coins to buy bigger cap coins to reduce our portfolio, that's completely different. Like if I have 10 coins and I want to sell 5 coins and reduce my portfolio from 10 coins down to 5 coins, and I take those 5 coins and I sell and buy Bitcoins with it, that is not buying altcoins during the middle of a bull market. That's reducing our portfolio so that we can ride out the trend longer. We avoid buying altcoins during the middle of a bull market due to the Taifu 90-90 rule. The Taifu 90-90 rule states that we can anticipate that 90% of the coins will crash 90%, and then after they crash 90%, 90% of them will never come back to life again. They will die and never come back. No one will ever talk about them, and no one will ever work on them again. And we just lost all our money. So because of the 90-90 rule, we do not want to buy altcoins because we don't want to buy into it and then next week it crashes 90% and then there's a 90% chance that it will never recover again. If we have to buy anything, if we have extra money, we won the lottery, or our parents died and left us an inheritance and we don't know what to do with that money and we desperately want to put it to work, the only coin that I would buy is Bitcoin, because it's the only coin that has crashed 94% and come back and set new highs. And it has done it multiple times. So here are several case studies I want to share with you guys. The first case study is, pretend that I'm in Vietnam and I'm earning $1,000 per month at my job. If I had a $700,000 portfolio during a market run-up, I would take out $200,000 immediately so I can retire. Why is that? Because Vietnamese corporate bonds usually pay around 7% per year. And if I take the $200,000 and multiply it by 7%, I will get $14,000 interest payments per year. And if I divide that by 12 months, that's about $1,166 per month to pay for my monthly living expenses. If I get that much, that is a lot of money in Vietnam. So that $200,000 chunk of profits allows me to quit my day job, and I still have $500,000 in the markets. Now, what happens if the market goes up another 2x? It's okay. Do the math. If the market goes up another 2x, the $200K that I take out will be $400K. What is more important and valuable to you? Early retirement or an extra $400K? An extra $400K with no guarantees of retirement, or a guaranteed retirement right now with $200K. I want you guys to consider that. For me personally, if I had $700,000 in my portfolio, I would take out the $200,000 immediately, so that guarantees that I can retire early. Now, that doesn't mean I have to quit my job right away. I can still work my day job until the bull market is over and then retire. But I know that I can retire because I have the $2,000 in the bank already. Here's case study number 2. If I had $20 million right now and I decide to take out only $2 million from my spending bucket, that is only 10%. Isn't that too small? Well, it's not really. If someone has like $20 million in their portfolio already, that means they probably have their physical needs done already, such as having a car, a house, things like that. So they're in no rush to take out profits and pay taxes for nothing. So you have to consider, when you have $20 million in your portfolio, do I really need to take $10 million out profit and give the government 24% of it or 55% of it, and I'm not going to do anything with the money? Or is it better if I just leave all that money in the markets and let it continue to grow? Because even if I take a 50% crash, it's still better than paying 50% in taxes, because I still have my coins. If I pay the taxes, I no longer have the coins for it to go up in value. So these are 2 simple and quick case studies that I want to share with you guys to help you guys be more creative with your profit taking. If you have any questions on the exit strategies, on how to take profits or anything like that, you're welcome to give me a call or reach out to me if you are one of our private coaching students, and I'll help you guys work through the numbers and figure it out. In the cryptocurrency exit strategies module, we talked about 2 components of this module. One is the exit theories, and the other one are the action steps required based on the exit theories. And the first exit theory we talked about was what happened in the past bull markets, and I shared with you guys the past crypto bull markets, the past crypto market cycles. And then in exit theory number 2, I talked about the window of opportunities to take profits and what the previous windows of opportunity to take profits looks like. And I shared with you guys some notes on the window of opportunity to take profits, mainly that the window is not very big when it's time to take profits. The exit theory number 3 is where I shared with you guys about the Taifu 3-bucket system. And bucket number 1 is the long-term bucket, and that's where we hold it for a long-term hodl. Bucket number 2 is the cash or the ammo bucket. That's the bucket where we hold the money to buy and reload the crypto in our portfolio during the bear market. And then the spending bucket is the 3rd bucket, and that's the one that we keep our money in to pay the bills and the living expenses. So I shared with you guys examples of the Taifu 3-bucket system, and I shared with you guys the notes on how to fine-tune and make your 3-bucket system work for you better. In exit theory number 4, I talk about the 3 stages of a bull market. The bottom 1/3 where we buy the coins with the potential in a bear market, and in the middle 1/3 where we remove and reduce the total number of coins that we have, and then the top 1/3 where it's time to sell and take profits on the coins. And then I shared with you guys the notes on the 3 stages of a bull market. Exit theory number 5 is where we calculate your personal financial goals. And I talk about the importance of calculating your personal financial goals, because if you don't have a final destination or an idea of where you want to go, it's really hard for anyone to help you, and it's really hard for you to make adjustments, and it's really hard for you to determine if what you're doing is efficient or not. Exit theory number 6 is where I share with you guys the two types of market signals, the logical versus the emotional market signals. And then I gave you guys a list of 16 logical market signals, starting with number 1 is the personal financial goals. Signal number 2 is the angle of the market trend. Signal number 3 is the angle of the portfolio trend. Signal number 4 is the Bitcoin versus the USD price charts. Signal number 5 is the trading volume. Signal number 6 is the market cap all-time high. Signal number 7 is the Bitcoin dominance crashes, to what level and how low it goes, and by looking at the previous markets and see how low it goes so we can determine where to take profits in this current bull market. Signal number 8 is the market average true range, otherwise known as the ATR. Signal number 9 is the portfolio average true range, and then signal number 10 is the coin average true range. So that makes up the top-down method that we teach in the course, where we look at the big markets, then we look at our personal portfolio, and then we look at the coins that we need to sell. And then I share with you guys some notes on how to fine-tune that. Then we go to logical market signal number 11. Again, we look at the top-down method by looking at the market ATR to make sure it's greater than 35%, and then the portfolio ATR should be greater than 35%, and then the coin ATR should be greater than 35%. And then I wrap that up with notes on how to fine-tune that and do it correctly. The logical market signal number 14 is the USDT markup rate in the countries with capital controls. And then I show you guys how to calculate the USDT markup rate in Vietnam with the Vietnamese dong. And then I show you guys how to calculate the USDT markup rate in Thailand using the Thai baht. And then I showed you guys a chart with the ideal USDT markup rates to take profits so that you have an idea when to take profits. And then we look at market signal number 15, which are the scam comments underneath my videos and other YouTubers' videos that talk about crypto. And then the logical market signal number 16 is the promotional emails. And that's really a signal that only I can see, or other YouTubers or crypto influencers can see. But you are welcome to email me or text me or message me on Twitter and ask me if I notice an increase in the promotional emails during the bull market or not. The logical market signal scoring method is the method that we use to score all 15 or 16 of the logical market signals. And then once we do that, then we go to exit theory number 7, where we use the logical market signal scoring methods to score the market signals, and then use the signal scoreboard to let us know the actions that we need to take, so we take the right actions depending upon the score that we give to the signals. Then we talk about the Taifu action steps. There are 5 action steps that we need to take. The first action step is to identify the market signals, and then the second action step is to calculate the market signal scores, and then the third action step is to lock in small profits. The fourth action step is to start reducing the total number of coins we have in the portfolio, and the action step number 5 is when we lock in big profits in our portfolio. And then I share with you guys notes on the cryptocurrency exit strategies. And then lastly, I share with you guys several case studies on how to do the cryptocurrency exit strategies. And hopefully those will help you guys have a better idea of taking profits in a bull market. Thanks for watching this module, and I will look forward to seeing you in a future module.